Real Frank.
Hello, welcome to Real Frank Movie Reviews. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the new movie, Spider-Man No Way Home. With Spider-Man's identity now revealed, our friendly neighborhood web-slinger is unmasked and no longer able to separate his normal life as Peter Parker from the high stakes of being a superhero. When Peter asks for help from Doctor Strange, the stakes become even more dangerous, forcing him to discover what it truly means to be Spider-Man. Now, in this episode, we will be talking about spoilers, so if you haven't seen it yet, pause this episode, go see it, and then come back and watch this episode. My special guest reviewer is, once again, the Marvel expert for Real Frank, NYLES. Welcome back to the show, NYLES.
Great to be back, man. Great to be back.
It's always a pleasure having you on, my friend.
Appreciate it, man. Love that Spider-Man shirt, too, man. Looking real fly.
Thanks, man.
See, we're twinning today, man.
That's it. We're all in on this Spider-Man thing.
Oh, yeah. We're in the Spider-Verse now, baby.
All right, so I don't know about you, but to watch this movie, it took a couple tries because this thing was selling out everywhere for every show.
I was prepared. I had to get mine, about a month in advance.
See, you're a smart guy. I didn't think it would be this big. I thought, it'd be big, but not like this big.
No, yeah, I feel what you're saying. I knew the potential, man, of the other Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire in it, it's just, hey, had to be prepared.
So let's just dive right into this, man. How do you think they did with this movie, like the story-wise, with this third one here?
I think it was a great fan service. That's exactly what it was. They were strictly for the fans, man. Anybody that grew up in, my era, watching Tobey being Spider-Man, it was great.
That's the thing I was most impressed with this movie, like how accurate they kept even those smallest conversation between all those characters from the respective movies from those Spider-Mans.
Yeah, they even said, man, they had to go back and literally they had to watch, frame by frame, scene by scene to make sure that they were following the storyline,
I wasn't aware of that. That's pretty sweet. They did that. Even, did you notice the little jabs about Tobey Maguire's back? Like he was crying. the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man was cracking his back because he said he was having back issues. Tobey's Spider-Man.
Yeah, that little callback from Spider-Man 2. You remember when he fell off that building?
Yes.
Yeah, man. Perfect. It was beautiful.
It was great. So that part of it was awesome without a doubt. If we take that part out of it and just talk about the Tom Holland part of it before they came in, before we were introduced, what did you think about that stuff, like the villains coming from those movies?
I think that was cool. I really liked the concept they had. They bringing everything in from the multiverse. Did you see Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, like that animated one?
Yeah, and they kind of stuck to that kind of formula, right?
Yeah, so that's something that they've kind of done in the comics before. So I think they did a real good job bringing that to live action.
I when I heard about this and all the rumors of this, I was hesitant. Like, there's no way they're going to pull this off. It's not going to be that great. I mean, because the animation, like the Spider-Verse cartoon one that we saw, was done really well. I mean, and that was a cartoon.
And I was really surprised at that too. I didn't think it would be as good as it was.
And then they pulled it off in the movie. I didn't think they could pull it off. I thought it'd be sloppy. It would be messy. But they did it, and I am very, very impressed. Now, when you saw it at the movie theater, what were the reactions in the theater as you were watching it? Was there any?
Screaming, shouting, cheers, applause, everything you would expect from something like this.
What was the biggest catch in the movie theater for you when you were watching it? Like, what was the big thing where everyone was like,
say catch, what do you mean?
The biggest, the loudest sound made in the movie theater, like what scene got the crowd the most active?
Definitely Tobey.
Tobey showed up?
Tobey, man, because he's the favorite. He's the fan favorite, literally. For he brung live action Spider-Man to life. He laid the foundation for this movie, basically.
Yeah, right.
So I knew that was gonna happen.
Now, what'd you think about? I talked to some people and they said they cried during the Aunt May part. Did you cry during the Aunt May part?
I can't even lie, man. I teared up a little bit. I wasn't expecting that at all.
Oh, they got you. They got you.
It got me a little bit. I just wasn't expecting that. I had heard somebody might die, but I didn't expect Aunt May.
Yeah, Aunt May. That was pretty. The acting in that scene was phenomenal.
And then, like, when they, like, when Spider-Man, he got shot or whatever, and he took off, and then they showed her dead body, like, shed that last little tear. I was like, oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Heart-wrenching.
It was tough. That was a tough scene. But the Tom's reaction, it was intense. Like, you felt that pain. Like, he did such a good job in that scene. It's legit.
Both of them, man. What's Aunt May's name?
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah, she killed that. She killed that scene, man.
Yeah. You have any complaints with this story at all?
I guess my biggest problem was it felt a bit rushed, but at the same time, it wasn't really rushed because we've been prepping for this since Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire.
Right.
So, if you're a real Spider-Man fan, then it's not really rushed. But, if this is your first time kind of getting into these movies, then you're going to be like, okay, this is happening a little fast probably.
Yeah. The only thing I got kind of a complaint was two little issues. They're just minor. Because this thing is a piece of artwork, in my opinion.
Right.
I couldn't tell the scenes with the Sandman and the Lizard. Were those reshot scenes, or they just took those from the original movies, the Sandman and the Lizard? Because you didn't see too much of
the. Are you talking about like the ones they used in the?
Yeah, so like.
No Way Home.
Exactly. So in No Way Home, when they showed those two villains, the Sandman and the Lizard guy, did they shoot new scenes for him, or were those scenes just taken from Amazing Spider-Man 1? I think he was in, and then he just put it in No Way Home rather than have shoot all new scenes with the guy. And the same with the Sandman, right. Because the Sandman, you never saw him in human form until he was cured, at the end. He was always in the sand.
And I was wondering why they did that too.
Right?
Yeah, that was kind of weird. But I thought it was because they couldn't get the old actor from Spider-Man 3, but at the end they showed his face. So right. I was like, I wonder why they waited all day for that.
Unless that was taken from the original movie and they just put it in.
That's what I'm thinking. Now that you say that doesn't, that makes sense.
I didn't know if you knew if that was what happened or if they did shoot new scenes for that. That's what my
I don't think so. Especially with the Lizard, I think that was all new. That was new CGI because he even looked a little bit more real to me in this one than the Amazing Spider-Man 1.
Right, he did. He looked good. Yeah. The CGI in this movie was off the chain, man. It was great. I don't know if it was because usually in movies when I get bored. And when I'm watching a movie and then I start really analyzing scenes when I'm watching it because I'm bored. But this one was so action-packed that I was so into this movie. The CGI looked great to me. Like I wasn't able to nitpick it, or even if it was possible to nitpick, because it looked so good.
Yeah, no, they did their thing, man. That was detail for detail, scene for scene, frame by frame. They were prepared. And
even when he's swinging around, downtown and stuff, usually they look, the way their body's flopping in those scenes, you guys like, oh yeah, it's totally CGI'd, animated type. But I couldn't tell. Like it looked good.
Especially like, did you the part when all three of them started swinging together?
Yes.
Just wooing through the sky. It was just great,
that was badass. That was pretty sweet.
Definitely, man.
Cinematography. The scene where he's like in the woods and they got the power lines when Electro shows up.
Shows up.
And you see him like swinging through the power lines, and you got the forest or the woods, and the way that was shot, I was blown away. Like, that looks super cool, and you can see his silhouette. I really like that.
No, I was digging that too, man. I think my favorite scenery, was definitely when they fought on the Statue of Liberty, and I thought it was real interesting because they switched. You see how they changed the color from the oxidized green Statue of Liberty that everybody knows to that bronze. How it originally was when the French brought it over. So I'm wondering if they in the MCU continuity, maybe they made a whole new Statue of Liberty so she would be holding the Captain America shield.
Now, I wanted to ask you about that. Now, was that reference to any of the other Marvel movies? Because I don't recall it, but I thought maybe at some point they had added the shield versus the torch, or was that just something they did here?
This was new for the Statue of Liberty was definitely new for the whole MCU, but they've changed landmarks before. I just can't think of any specifically off the top of my head, but they've definitely done that before.
And you're right, because it kind of set up too. Because remember, they had all those scaffolds set up in front of it, so they could have been cleaning or rebuilding it. Maybe the shield was new because of that whole. They were doing work on it type of.
That's what I'm thinking.
What'd you think about Doctor Strange's role in this movie?
Benedict Cumberbatch plays the role of Doctor Strange to a T. So I was, the first Doctor Strange, I didn't even think it was going to be that good. And, Marvel always surprises me, man. So he does a great job at that role, man. I can't wait for his movie. You saw the trailer, the Sting at the end, correct?
Yeah, I stayed for the entire thing, and I saw the thing at the end.
Honestly, I think that Doctor Strange might be Marvel's best movie that they drop.
You think so?
I think it's going to be better than Spiderman. I think it's going to be better than Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, all of that.
Wow. He's great as that character, and I was impressed of how funny he was, too, with his lines in there. He had some zingers in there.
Oh, yeah. Real smart alecky.
Yeah, it's so great, and he's so serious when he shoots out those lines. And also the entire movie, I loved how they kept it light, with usually these Marvel movies, they have cheesy lines, your stupid stuff. But this one I thought legitimately was funny. I laughed out loud a few times in this movie.
I did too, man. I know what you mean. You know how Disney gets down.
Yes.
So they had a healthy balance with that, man.
They did, and it wasn't kid humor. It was adult humor that was legitimately funny. It wasn't cheesy.
Yeah, when he's get on your phones, get on social media, and Scooby-Doo this shit.
Scooby-Doo this shit. Oh, it was great. It was so funny. Another thing I have with this Spider-Man franchise, just in this one with Tom Holland, is the guy they got playing a Flash. I cannot see this guy that's playing Flash as an athlete, because in the comic books and everything, this Flash Tom is supposed to be this athlete guy. This guy in this Tom Holland series of Spider-Man looks nothing like an athlete, a jock, and I can't stand him every time he pops in.
It's very frustrating. I'm so happy you said that. He is not Flash Thompson.
No.
At all. Any of the other, I think the best Flash Thompson out of all the Spider-Verse was probably in the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield. He had the best bully complex, the best jock complex.
Because that's what he's supposed to be, And this guy, you see this guy, and you're he's not. He looks like a brainiac or something. He's just not.
Doesn't even look like a bully.
No, not even close. How could you take that guy seriously? It's almost like a parody of the real Flash Thompson, because it's nowhere near what it should be like.
Yeah, they could have found somebody way better for this role. I've been saying that since the first Spider-Man. I hate him for that role.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad casting, and in my opinion, it's they could have gone so many different ways with that. So were you happy?
Cool. I guess we gotta live with it.
Yeah. So were you happy with the villains that appeared in here?
I was very happy. I wanted them to have one more to make that Sinister Six, but it was already so jam-packed. I was I didn't know how much more they could really do.
And it was interesting, too, because, William Dafoe played the Green Goblin in the Tobey Maguire one, and then in which he's great. His voice as when he turns into the, it's like right as soon as he does that voice, you know he's the Green Goblin. Like
that whole dual personality complex he has is just great, man.
It is, man, and his whole expression of his face, his tone of his voice, it's amazing acting there.
It was just natural.
Yes,
he was back in his home. He was back in his element. And
he didn't have the mask on, so it wasn't like, oh, now he's the Green Goblin because he's got the mask on. It was just him, and he just switched, and there he was.
Yeah, because when he was when he had that conflict, in the first Spider-Man, he would talk to the mask. The mask kind of held that personality.
Right.
But when he smashed that mask, that second personality kind of got meshed more, within him.
It was there.
It was great, man. It was fantastic.
All right, man. Anything else you want to talk about with this thing? I could go on and hours with this masterpiece.
Yeah, honestly, me too. I thought. Did you like that Venom sting? Like that mid-post credit scene?
What do you think's gonna happen with that?
So I know Flash Thompson in the comics gets.
He turns to Venom, doesn't he?
The symbiote. Yeah, in some of them, but like I said, I hate him for that role, so I really hope they don't give him any more lines, any more responsibility than he already needs.
Agreed.
What I really want is for that little alien symbiote to find its way to Peter, and then Tom Holland Spider-Man gets the black suit.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be nice.
I mean, with the way it's ended, anything can happen now, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, man. They're doing the whole. I don't know if you saw the promo for Secret Wars or Secret Invasion, that next Marvel show.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
So yeah, in that comic arc, that's when Spider-Man gets the black suit. His suit fuses with the black symbiote. So I'm guessing that's probably they're probably setting something up like that.
Right. Again, I want to go back to all those Spider-Mans in that movie. The detail of them sticking true to their version of the Spider-Man with the suits, the way they acted. Andrew Garfield putting on his little lab coat, because he wore the lab coat when he was working at Oscorp, and I was so blown away by that detail. It was really cool.
Oh yeah, man! Just they're all scientists. They're all little nerds, dweebs, just in their element.
And then the scene where he saves MJ from falling, and to get redemption for not doing it in his world with Stacy. Yeah. Wasn't that sweet?
It was just a fan service, man. It was beautiful, man.
And he got all teary-eyed.
The crowd cheered for that one too. And just everybody just clapping.
But it was so subtle, and if you hadn't seen any of them, you would have had no clue what had just happened.
Literally, that's why. Yeah, man. That's why I said it was such a fan service, man. I was really impressed.
It was good, man. So let's go ahead and rate this. What do you give the story?
Overall story.
Yeah.
I gotta give it 8.7.
I think I'm gonna shock you, but I am pretty close to you. I gave it an 8.5 for story.
Finally, yes. Show some love on those ratings.
I do. I think you're like these. Acting. What do you give acting? The acting was great in this movie.
Overall acting, I'll give it about a 8.2.
All right, I'm on par with you too. There, I give it an 8.4. Just that scene with Aunt May, and I felt that emotion.
That hit home, man.
And then when Andrew Garfield Spider-Man catches MJ to save the Gwen thing from his world, that caught me too. And it's like, oh, you could feel that, like you felt a little redemption there when he finished that.
And you saw his face too, man. When he saved her, he's like, man, like he really felt that.
He felt it. You could almost feel it lifted off his shoulders, like he was living with that so much in his world. And then that happened, and he got a little healing there. Cinematography. What do you give the cinematography?
Oh, that's like a 9. That's like a 9. They were doing their thing, man.
I gave it an 8.1. I don't know if I could judge it fairly because I was so wrapped up in the movie, which is so rare to me, but I couldn't point out anything. So I was very, very impressive with the way they were swinging around and everything. All right.
Yeah, I saw it twice, so I got to give it a more critical analysis.
All right, and the CGI. What do you think of the CGI?
That was pretty good too, man. You know, they did their thing. Give it an 8.5.
8.5. I give it an 8.8. I'm right on par with you. I thought it was good, man. It was really good.
I like that. We're here with it.
We're here this one. So, overall, what's your score for this one?
Overall, man.
10 being the best, 1 being the worst. Now remember, you and I have done a lot of Marvel movies this year.
I'm thinking, I know. I'm trying to be realistic, but I mean, hey, it was that, man. I got to give it an 8.9.
8.9. Wow. All right. Overall, I give this an 8.8. 8.8. I can't believe I'm saying it. I can't believe I'm saying it.
Me either.
8.8. I was just blown away by everything about this movie. Like how they were able to put it together so well. And like I said, I never checked my watch. I was in this world. I was in this movie. I lost myself.
And it was a long movie too.
It was, and it did not feel that way to me at all.
At all, man. Yeah, it was like 2.5 hours, and I was thoroughly entertained the whole time.
I agree, very, very well. Now this year we talked Black Widow, right? Mm-hmm. We did the Eternals, and then this one.
We did. I think we did Shang-Chi too.
Shang-Chi, yeah, right. So out of all these, that's 4 Marvel movies. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
How do you rate this one compared to the rest that we saw this year?
Oh, this one definitely outshined all of those guys. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
They say this for the end of the year on purpose.
For a reason.
It was such a jam-packed year for these guys.
It was, and this one was an absolute masterpiece. I never thought I would say that on this show about talking about a Marvel movie like this, because I've kind of always been, everyone I get excited about, I always get kind of let down by it. But this one lived up to the hype for finally one time. This was it. This was beautiful.
Yeah, they did their thing, man. So now I'm getting real excited because they always surprise me, man. Marvel, so they got a lot of titles on the way. So I'm real curious to see where they're gonna take us.
And they did say that they will make another Spider-Man movie. They're already in talks with the whole Sony Disney thing. They were fighting for a while. They're in talks for another one with Tom in it. So I'm just so pumped to see where they take it now with him. Nobody knowing who he is now.
Oh yeah, they're gonna make so much money off of this movie. Like this is probably gonna do better than the Avengers movies, money wise. Like it's crazy. I'm real excited.
I am too. All right, so Niles gives it an 8.9. I give it an 8.8. That's our review for Spider-Man. Thanks for watching.